What if what you call a defect is actually the alarm of your awakening? You're not broken, you've only seen the game. As Alan Watts would say, when the mask falls, life really begins. No more blaming yourself for not being able to pretend that everything is fine. No more forcing yourself to smile at empty people. Enough of thinking that the problem is you because you can no longer stand shallow conversations, fake relationships, and a society that lives on automatic. You're not too sensitive. You're not too difficult. You don't need more therapy to adjust. What you need is to understand a brutal truth. You've woken up in a world of emotional zombies. That constant anguish, that tiredness of people, that feeling of living wrong. This is not depression. This is lucidity. You finally saw that the king is naked, that the game is a force, that everyone is playing a role. Alan Watts knew this. And today you will discover why being different is not a curse. It is a liberation. Get ready to stop apologizing for existing. 1. You didn't go broke. Listen up. You are not defective. You don't need fixing. That feeling of always being out of place, of not being able to fit into empty conversations, of feeling nauseous when you have to feign interest in futility, that's not your problem. It's a sign that you're functioning perfectly. Alan Watts has always said that our suffering comes from trying to mold ourselves to a world that has lost its way. You feel pain because you still have a soul. You feel awkward because you've retained the ability to question. While everyone else accepts the social script without thinking, you stop to ask, why am I doing this? Society has programmed you to believe that adaptation is mental health. Lie. Adaptation to a sick system is a disease. When you can no longer pretend that everything is fine, when you can no longer smile automatically, when you can no longer participate in social theater, you are not breaking. You're waking up. Think about it. A fish out of water is not defective. It is in the wrong place. You weren't born to live on automatic, repeating patterns that don't make sense, pursuing goals that aren't yours, maintaining relationships that drain you. Its maladaptation is intelligence. Your sensitivity is perception. Your weariness of people is discernment. You have developed antibodies against falsehood. This is not weakness, it is evolution. The world has convinced you that you need to adjust, take medication to normalize, go to therapy to fit in better. But what if the problem wasn't you? What if you simply had higher standards? What if you could no longer accept emotional crumbs because you discovered that you deserve the full feast? You're not broke. You just stopped accepting the unacceptable. You have developed an allergy to mediocrity. Your soul refuses to participate in a game where everyone loses their essence to gain approval. This is the first truth you need to accept. There is nothing wrong with you. The mistake lies in trying to fit into a world that does not deserve its authenticity. 2. Signs of awakening. You know the symptoms. That inexplicable exhaustion after social events. The feeling of watching a bad movie where everyone pretends it's Oscars. The deep fatigue that does not go away with rest because it is not physical, it is existential. These are the signs that you are awakening from consciousness. Alan Watts called this spiritual anxiety, when your soul finally refuses to participate in the collective farce. It's not depression, it's painful lucidity. First sign, you can't do small talk anymore. Those conversations about the weather, about traffic, about what happened on TV because you physical agony. It's not because you're antisocial. It's because your expanded mind can no longer be content with superficiality. Second sign, you feel disgusted by social networks. Seeing people faking perfect lives, flaunting fake happiness, fishing for validation with empty posts, makes you want to vomit. You see through the mask and it hurts you. Third sign, you question everything. Why work 40 years of 10 years of retirement? Why pretend to like people who drain you? Why follow rules that don't make sense? Their questions are uncomfortable because they expose collective insanity. Fourth sign, you feel a deep loneliness even surrounded by people, because you've realized that most people aren't really present. They're on automatic, repeating scripts, living lives they did not choose. Fifth sign, you have regular existential crises. What am I doing here? What's the point of all this? Why does everyone act like this is normal? These are not crises, they are awakenings. Sixth sign, you have become hypersensitive to people's energy. You can sense when someone is lying, when they're pretending, when they're manipulating. Your intuition has become an emotional radar that you can no longer turn off. These symptoms are not signs that you need help. These are signs that you have finally stopped sleeping. The problem is not that you are feeling it. The problem is that most people don't feel it. 3. The world sleeps. Look around you. Really look. You're surrounded by emotional zombies who call it normal life. People who wake up, go to work in jobs they hate, come home, watch TV, sleep and repeat. Without question, without feeling, without living. Alan Watts said that most people are hypnotized by social conditioning. They believe that success is having more things, that happiness is external approval, that love is emotional dependence. They live on automatic, following a script that they have never questioned. You see it everywhere. Married people who can't stand each other but keep up the charade because that's what you do. Professionals who sell their soul for a salary but pretend they are building a career. Parents who repeat with their children the same traumas they received but call it education. The system created a machine for producing emotional robots. Since you were a child, you were taught not to feel too much, not to question too much, not to dream too much. They teach you that being normal is a virtue, that standing out is dangerous, that thinking differently is a problem. They convince you that consuming is living, that competing is natural, that sacrificing yourself for crumbs is noble. They make you believe that your sensitivity is a defect, that your depth is exaggeration, that your authenticity is inconvenient. The world sleeps because waking up hurts. It is easier to accept the comfortable lie than to face the brutal truth. It is simpler to follow the flock than to walk one's own path. It's less scary to live the life that others have planned than to create your own. But you woke up, and now he sees the matrix. See how people voluntarily lock themselves in gilded cages. See how they trade freedom for security, authenticity for acceptance, soul for approval. It hurts you because you still have heart. You still feel it. You still question. While they sleep the sleep of the undead, you're too much alive to pretend you don't see. The world sleeps, but you have awakened. And there is no turning back. 4. Pretending hurts. You've tried. God knows how he tried. Pretending to care about empty conversations, pretending to find funny jokes, pretending to be okay when you're falling apart inside, pretending it's normal when everything in you screams that it's insanity. Pretending is the most subtle violence that exists. It's you betraying yourself every day, denying your essence, suffocating your soul to fit into other people's expectations. Alan Watts knew that this internal betrayal is the source of all psychological suffering. When you feign interest in things that bore you, you're killing a piece of yourself. When you smile at people who drain you, you're selling your energy for crumbs of acceptance. When he agrees with opinions that he considers stupid, he is prostituting his intelligence. The worst thing is that no one forces you. You fake it because you're afraid. Fear of being rejected, of being judged, of being alone. So he prefers the slow death of falsehood to the intense life of authenticity. He prefers to be accepted by being false than to be rejected by being real. But your body doesn't lie. That constant tension in your shoulders, that headache that doesn't go away, that exhaustion that sleep can't cure, are signs that you're living against your nature. Your soul is on strike. Pretending hurts because you weren't born to be an actor. You were born to be you. Every time you betray your essence, every time you deny your feelings, every time you accept the unacceptable, you are violating yourself. Society has taught you that adaptation is maturity. Lie. Maturity is having the courage to be who you are, even when it bothers others. Maturity is choosing authentic solitude over false company. You feel pain because you still have a soul. You get tired because you still have patterns. You suffer because you still have dignity. This pain is not a sign of weakness, it is a sign that you are still alive inside. Stop pretending. Stop betraying yourself. Stop selling your soul for cheap approval. Your authenticity is worth more than the acceptance of people who only want you when you are not yourself. 5. Sensibility kills. They told you that you are too sensitive, as if feeling it was a defect, as if having a heart is weakness, as if perceiving the pain of the world was your problem. But Alan Watts knew the truth. Sensitivity is not weakness. It is a misunderstood superpower. You feel everything. The falsehood in people's words, the sadness hidden behind the forced smiles, the heavy energy of toxic environments, the lie disguised as education. You are a walking emotional radar in a world that prefers anesthesia. It kills you because you absorb the pain of others like a sponge. You feel the collective anguish, the disguised loneliness, the silent despair that everyone carries but no one admits. You're too empathetic for too psychopathic a world. Your sensitivity makes you see through social masks. You notice when someone is lying, when they are pretending, when they are manipulating. Not because you are paranoid, but because your intuition is calibrated to the truth. They call you dramatic when you react to cruelty. They call you exaggerated when you don't accept mediocrity. They call you difficult when you have standards, because for them, feeling is inconvenient. But his sensitivity is his gift. It is what allows you to love deeply, to create beauty, to see beyond appearances. It is what connects you with the essence of things, which makes you human in an increasingly robotic world. The problem is not that you feel too much. The problem is that the world feels too little. You don't have to anesthetize yourself to fit in. You need to find people who also feel, who also question, who also refuse to live on automatic. Your sensitivity kills because you live in a world that has killed the very soul. But don't let them kill yours. Do not anesthetize. Don't diminish yourself. Don't apologize for feeling it. Your sensitivity is your strength. It's what keeps you human when everyone else has become a machine. It is what allows you to see the beauty that others have lost. It is what connects you with what really matters. Sensitivity kills, but also heals. It kills falsehood, but heals the soul. 6. The big lie. Do you want to know what is the biggest lie they told you? That you need to fit in to be happy? That needs the approval of others to have value? That needs to follow the social script to succeed? That you need to be like everyone else to be loved? Alan Watts has dedicated his entire life to exposing this lie. He showed that the whole game is an illusion, a theater where everyone pretends they know what they are doing, but no one knows anything. Everyone is improvising, but pretending to follow a script. The big lie is that there is a right way to live, that there is a formula for happiness, that if you do X, Y, and Z, you will achieve love, success, and fulfillment. But look around you, how many people have followed the formula and are miserable? They sold you the lie that working 40 years on something you hate is responsibility, that accepting mediocre relationships is maturity, that swallowing disrespect is diplomacy, that sacrificing your dreams is realism. They have convinced you that your individuality is selfishness, that its limits are a pet peeve, that your emotional needs are too demanding, that its authenticity is inconvenient, that being yourself is a luxury you can't afford. The brutal truth is that this system needs you to believe these lies. It needs you to be predictable, controllable, manipulable. It needs you to trade your soul for crumbs of security. It needs you to be a productive robot that doesn't question. But you questioned it. You saw through the smokescreen. You've realized that the emperor has no clothes, that gambling is rigged, that the rules are meant to keep you small. The big lie is that you have no choice, that you have to accept, that you have to conform, that you have to adapt. But you always had a choice. He always had the power to say no. You have always had the right to be who you are. They lied to you because your freedom scares them. Their authenticity exposes their falsity. Their courage to be different questions. Their cowardice in following the herd. The big lie is being exposed, and you are part of that exhibition. 7. Stop adjusting. Comes. No more contorting yourself to fit into spaces that weren't meant for you. No more shrinking so as not to bother. No more adjusting to people and situations that violate you. No more being flexible with those who are strict with you. Alan Watts taught that trying to adjust to an insane world is insanity itself. It's like trying to fit a round piece into a square hole. You'll only hurt yourself in the process. The problem is not the part, it's the whole. You've spent years trying to be more palatable, more acceptable, more normal. He changed his way of speaking so as not to sound too intellectual. He changed his way of being so as not to seem too intense. He changed his dreams so as not to seem too ambitious. And what did you get? People who like a fake version of you. Relationships based on lies. A life that is not yours. Borrowed identity that suffocates you every day. To stop adjusting is not to be inflexible. It is to have discernment. It is to know the difference between healthy adaptation and self-destruction. It is to understand that some situations do not deserve your flexibility. You don't have to adjust to toxic people. You don't have to adjust to environments that drain you. You don't have to adjust to expectations that diminish you. You don't need to adjust to patterns that violate you. The world will try to convince you that you are difficult, demanding, complicated. It's better to be difficult being yourself than to be easy being someone else. It is better to be demanding with quality than to be resigned to mediocrity. When you stop adjusting, something magical happens. The right people start showing up. Those who want you exactly as you are. The ones that don't need you to slow down to feel big. Stopping adjusting is a revolutionary act in a world that wants to standardize you. It is a declaration of war against mediocrity. It's a claim that you're worth more than cheap approval. You are not clay to be molded, you are diamond to be cut. And diamond doesn't fit, it cuts. 8. Embrace the stranger. You're weird, and that's the most beautiful thing there is. In a world of poorly made copies, you are original. In a world of emotional robots, you still have a soul. In a world of superficiality, you have depth. Alan Watts celebrated the strangers, the misfits, the ones who don't fit in. He knew that they are the ones who move the world, who create art, who ask uncomfortable questions, who refuse to accept the status quo as absolute truth. Its strangeness is not a defect, it is a differential. It's what makes you unique in a world that tries to make you just like everyone else. It is his trademark, his signature in the universe, his contribution to human diversity. You think differently because you see differently. You feel differently because you notice nuances that others ignore. You act differently because you have values that others have lost. Its strangeness is its intelligence manifesting. Stop trying to be normal. Normal is overrated. Normal is mediocre. Normal is what is left when you remove everything that is interesting from a person. Normal is the graveyard of dreams, the tomb of creativity, the death of individuality. Embrace your weirdness with pride. Celebrate your quirks. Honor your differences. They are not bugs in your system, they are exclusive features that make you special. The world needs your strangeness. It needs its unique perspective, its differentiated sensitivity, its particular way of seeing things. It needs you to be you, not a watered-down version of someone else. When you embrace the stranger in you, you give permission for others to do the same. You become a beacon for other misfits, an example that it is possible to be different and happy, unique and fulfilled. Your weirdness is your superpower. It is what allows you to create, innovate, question, transform. It connects you with other wonderful strangers who, like you, refuse to live on automatic. Don't be one more in the crowd. Be the stranger you were born to be. The world already has many normals. What he needs is more people like you. 9. Living without a mask. The mask is heavy. You've been carrying it for so long that you've forgotten what it's like to breathe without it. You forgot what it's like to speak without a filter, to feel without censorship, to exist without performance. Forgot who you are when no one is looking. Alan Watts said that we wear masks to hide our vulnerability, but we end up getting lost in the process. The mask that is supposed to protect us becomes our prison. The character we create to please others becomes our tormentor. Living without a mask is terrifying at first. It means showing your imperfections, admitting your doubts, revealing your wounds. It means being judged for who you really are, not for what you pretend to be. But it's also liberating. When you take off your mask, you stop wasting energy pretending. Stop worrying about keeping up the charade. Stop living in fear of being discovered. You can finally rest by being yourself. Without a mask, you attract the right people and repel the wrong ones. Those who truly love you will love you even more. Those who only liked his performance leave. And that's perfect because you don't want people who only want you when you're lying. Living without a mask means speaking your truth, even when it bothers you. It means setting limits, even when it disappoints. It means saying no, even when you're expected to say yes. It's scary because you've been conditioned to believe that your truth isn't good enough, that you need to beautify yourself, edit yourself, improve yourself to be loved. But that's a lie. You are lovable just as you are. When you live without a mask, you inspire others to do the same. You become an example of courage, proof that it is possible to be authentic and survive. You break the chain of falsehood that binds humanity. Take off your mask. Take a deep breath. Feel how good it feels to be yourself. Feel how liberating it is not to have to pretend. Feel how powerful it is to be real in a world of fakes. Your authenticity is your gift to the world. Don't hide it behind masks. 10. Full awakening. You've made it this far. He went through the pain of recognizing that he is not broken, the anguish of seeing the world sleeping, the courage to take off his mask. Now comes the most beautiful part, living awake. Full awakening is not a destination, it is a process. It's not something you reach for and that's it, it's something you choose every day. It is the daily decision to be real in a false world, to feel in an anesthetized world, to question in a conformed world. Alan Watts taught that awakening is simple. It's about stopping fighting who you are and starting to celebrate. It's accepting that you don't have to be perfect to be valuable. It's understanding that your humanity, with all its contradictions, is exactly what makes you special. Living awake means trusting your intuition more than the opinion of others. It means valuing your peace more than external approval. It means choosing quality over quantity in everything. Relationships, experiences, commitments. You no longer need to explain who you are to anyone. You no longer need to justify yourself by feeling, by questioning, by being different. You no longer need to ask permission to be yourself. Full awakening is when you realize that you have always been complete. That never needed repair, only acceptance. That was never defective, just different. That it was never broken, just waking up. Now you see the beauty in your sensitivity, the strength in your difference, the wisdom in your strangeness. You understand that your inadaptation to the world is not your problem, it is your intelligence. You finally stopped apologizing for existing. It stopped shrinking to fit. He stopped cheating on himself to please. You chose the freedom of authenticity over the prison of approval. This is your full awakening. The courage to be who you've always been, but were afraid to show off. The wisdom of understanding that you don't need to change the world, just stop letting it change you. You weren't broke, you were just sleeping. And now, finally, you've woken up.